Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working on 4 12 by 12 layouts. So I'm really excited to be working on these and getting them completed in my Project Life album. So if you're new here, I do mix traditional like 12 by 12 layouts with the pocket pages to complete my Project Life album during the year. So I do the pocket pages for each week, but then if I have additional photos or something that I want to kind of showcase, I'll make a 12 by 12 layout just because I enjoy making them. This year I'm considering, or this coming year, I'm considering going back to a mix of different sized layouts, which I've done previous years, but then the last couple I've only done 12 by 12, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, I do have 4 layouts that I want to complete for the last month in October. So then I'll be all caught up and ready to go for the end of the year for any layouts that I have. So then I can make sure that my Project Life album for 2023 is all finished by the end of the year. So we're kind of going back in time just a bit to October, and we're going to be working on 4 layouts from that month. So this first one is the pumpkin patch. So me and Will went to the pumpkin patch for October, of course, right around my birthday. So for that Project Life spread, I had a lot of other photos that I wanted to include, and I didn't want it to only have pumpkin patch photos. So like if this would have been a slow week, I for sure would have just included all of these pumpkin patch pictures in my Project Life pocket spread. But since I did have other photos, I thought, well, I'll save these and I'll create a layout. So that's typically like how my mind works whenever I'm doing these. So now all of these layouts today are going to have multiple photos, which honestly is my favorite way to do a layout. If I only have 1 to 2 pictures, I tend to blow one up pretty big, like maybe into a 6 by 8 at least, so that it'll take up more of the real estate. But for this one, I have 6 pictures here, and I printed them all off at a 3 by 3 square size. So I was originally going to put them right next to each other, kind of like as one big photo kind of look. But then last second, I decided to drop down that second row a little lower. And if I could change it, I don't think I would have done that. But you'll see later, I try to pull up a little piece of it and it doesn't want to come up. And I thought, oh, well, I've committed to it. Let's just leave it the way that it is. It didn't bother me too much. But I do really like these photos. I always love pumpkin patch pictures, and I'm always happy to document them. Here's where I try to pull it up, and I'm like, no, it's going to like wreck my paper and everything. So let's just keep it the way that it is. But I was kind of second guessing my choices there. But anyway, I love going to the pumpkin patch, and I love getting pictures there every year. It's kind of like the big kind of signal that the fall season has started for me, because my birthday is on the 10th of October. So it's right there at the beginning of the month. And so we usually go to the pumpkin patch to celebrate my birthday. And it's such a nice, cozy fall day to have. And this day in particular was just such a good one. Later this night, we made soup and we made little mini apple pies, and we just had such a fun fall themed night together. So it was really great. So I'm excited to have these documented here. So I'm using a mix of different papers that have been just in my stash. So that background paper, the orange, is from the Monster Mash collection, which is from Echo Park, which is what I used for my entire or basically my entire October daily this year. The plaid paper is from the scrapbook.com, like October-y paper pad that I got. I think it's like a 6 by 8 paper pad. So I just used that, and you saw that I kind of Frankensteined those couple pieces together to create one longer piece of paper there. So I'm going to be using just a mix of different collections throughout this video. So for these, I'm using those 2, but this, the little card and these little like star embellishments, I think those are from the Fabulous collection from Simple Stories. So I didn't actually use that collection this year, but I did grab just a couple pieces of paper from it and this ephemera pack to use in my travel album that I'm working on over on Patreon this month for the Salem spreads. But I did have a decent amount of it, so I thought I could definitely use a couple pieces in here for this project as well. So I do grab out that journaling little square and then a couple other small embellishments. So here you can see that I used my Sophie Alpha stamp to create my title. I knew that I wanted to keep this one pretty simple over here on the side, so I just had in my mind that I would stamp out a title, pumpkin patchin', and then I would use that journaling block there, and I think that that looks nice. It's kind of editorial-y, like a magazine spread sort of vibe. I mean, it's not that good, but you know, that kind of look where it's there's a lot of open space and it's not like filled with embellishments and stuff, which was kind of the look that I was trying to go for here. I do double up on those jack-o'-lantern stickers, which are from the Monster Mash collection. And then I just thought I wanted to add a little bit more embellishing. So I do grab my tab punch and I have punched out a few little tabs here in the orange and the gray color. And I think that this collection is called like is it Simply October? I don't actually remember, but it's also from Simple Stories, and I only have like those solid color papers from it. They're really cool papers though, because they almost look like they have a tiny bit of mixed media on them. They kind of have like a worn look, like maybe there's been spills on them or discoloration, and I love that kind of look in papers. So I did grab some of those solid colors. So I'm going to add on 4 of these tabs just here and there, and it's totally just for fun, just to add some sort of like easy embellishment here. And then I still wanted to do something else. Like I wanted there to be a little bit more excitement here in the spread. And I don't remember if I do my journaling first or not, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I do pull out another stamp set that I have not used in a while, and we'll use that here in a second. So here's the Fabulous ephemera pack. So I do add on just this other little like spider at the top that says Eek. And I thought that this was really cute, so I just add that on. And then we're going to add in the journaling and all that kind of good stuff. Just start adding in all of those little bits and pieces and all of that. So here we'll add in the journaling. I had a little bit to say. Sorry, I was trying to grab out my stamp set, and I'm having a little bit of a issue here. But I wanted to add on the date. Of course, try to keep everything nice and organized with the dates here, and then I'll add on my journaling. And then I am going to pull out the stamp set that is by Feed Your Craft, and it's called Dots and Spots. So that's what I was trying to pull out so I could tell you guys, because I'm going to use it throughout, like, I think all 4 of these layouts I end up using it. It's so cute, but I guess I don't know if you'll be able to find that anywhere now that Feed Your Craft is no longer in business, but it's really cute, and it's one that I always forget, but I'm so glad that I grabbed it whenever I did, because it basically looks like a mixed media, like splats and stuff, but you don't have to make any of the mess. So I was really excited to pull this out. So here I do grab a really old stamp set that I have from A Beautiful Mess, like whenever they were making products for Studio Calico, and you can see it there. I did a little test piece. So I wanted to use some of the gray color so that it would be nice and easy, like in the background. But I really think that this is what made the layout and really made it look completed. I just really, really love this look, and I'm so glad that I used the gray. It's like perfect to have it just in the background without like being super vibrant like a black would be or something like that. So I really love the way that this ends up looking. So I'm just going to add little splats around, and it's really fun because they're kind of like discreet, so it doesn't feel like, oh gosh, I'm stamping this and am I going to mess up my spread by putting all these stamps around? Like, they're really easygoing stamps. So I just kind of keep going until I feel like it is completed. I am going to use this bigger one here at the top. And then I do add just a few little finishing touches here, and I'll grab out my Heidi Swap like color shine in the color tinsel, and I'll add on just a few little splats of that as well here at the very end to completely finish it off. And then there you have it. That will be this first spread completed. So it feels really good to have these done. I love to kind of complete my things in the season that we're working on. So the fact that I still had like a pumpkin patch, and we're going to be working on Halloween costumes next. So I was just really glad to get these done before like Christmas time. So it feels good. So here I'm using that same paper, the Simple Stories, like Simply October or whatever it's called. That's what we're going to call it here. And I'm not sure if I'm right, but you can see I love this background paper, how it's like a little bit more exciting than just your regular background paper. Solid color. So for this one, I wanted to do, again, a lot of photos here because I wanted to showcase my Halloween costume this year, which was Casey Becker from Scream, the movie Scream. So I did include 2 pictures of Drew Barrymore there because I was being her character. So you can see that I have 2, 4, 6, 8 photos. So again, a lot of photos. So for this one, since they're all basically essentially the same picture, I'm just making different faces, but I liked the idea of having a lot of those on here. I kind of went back and forth with what I wanted to do, and I was sort of thinking of a photo strip because those work well if you have like a lot of pictures that are similar. But I ended up going with just 2x2 squares, and I wanted to make kind of a grid in the middle of the page because I realized that I had some of these cute little icons that are in the frames that are from Monster Mash, and I'd already had those cut out from a previous project that I didn't use them, so I thought I'm going to put them on here. So what I do is I layer 2 of these papers, and I fold this one corner back just so you can get all 3 of the colors, and I really like the way that all of those work together. And then I'm going to start to create my grid here in the middle of the spread. And again, I really end up liking, I love all 4 of these layouts a lot. So I was excited that I ended up liking this one as well. Now, before I turn the camera on, I did go on to Pinterest, and I just kind of browsed like 12 by 12 multiple photo layouts. And I didn't actually scrap lift like any specific layout or anything, but I was just kind of getting some ideas of like the pumpkin patch, putting them down one side, the grid look here, or some of the other ideas that I have in the next ones. I was just trying to like just get inspired by other multiple photo layouts, but I didn't find any that I was like, oh yes, that's what I'm going to use, you know, but even sometimes just looking at other layouts can just like start getting your mind going. So here, I really like the way the grid looks, and I added my little icons there, but then I was like, you know what, I need some other background paper. So I grab out my 2x2 punch here, and I'm going to punch out 4 little squares, and then I'm going to add those in to the blank spots, and then I will add those little die cuts, little character die cuts on top, because I wanted something to anchor those down. Like I wanted an additional pop of color, and instead of adding 4 of them, I decided that I would just add 3, and then that lower one at the very bottom, I would do a little bit of journaling and my title inside that one. So I realized I didn't really have any good place to journal. So here I'm going to add these back on. They already have adhesive on them. So it takes me a minute to kind of figure out, because I really wanted to use the Bride of Frankenstein. So I end up pulling off Frankie here at the top, and then they would all be going vertically, which I thought looked nice. And then here at the bottom, I just totally went through my old thicker stash, and I just grabbed out a few. So I noticed that these had a few letters that I could work with. So I grabbed these out. They were small, and I figured they would fit into this little section. So I just spelled out, with all of the exclamations there. And then I'm going to add my journaling right under there, and then put the date stamp and all that kind of stuff. And then we will really kind of add the finishing touches and complete this one as well. So I also used a few pieces from the Doodlebug Halloween collection, and honestly, I do not know what that collection was called, but I did get some of the enamel dots for my October daily, and also that cute puffy sticker sheet there that you just saw. But I had a ton of the stickers left because they give you like this huge, huge sheet. And I didn't use a ton of them. I really love Doodlebug. I think that they're so cute. But sometimes they're almost like too cute for me, where it reads like for a little kid sort of. So I like to use them, but just like sparingly here and there. So I loved adding those 3 little ghosts on, added my date to the bottom. I am going to do a bit of a doodle border, and then we'll add on a few other bits and pieces to really finish this one off. And I love the way that it ends up looking. So once again, you can see that it already has a few of those little, like, they almost look like splats in the backgrounds, like from oil or something, like messing up your paper. And so I thought, well, why not? Let's just add a few more. So I just go ahead and take that same stamp set that we used before, and I'm just going to add little bits on. And I think that really helps because I felt like the background was a little too plain, and it was kind of like bothering me. I was like, okay, what else am I going to add on here? And so I really think that this is like the perfect stamp set for this. It just worked out for basically, well, I know I used it in 3 out of 4 at least of the spreads today. So it really, really worked out nicely. I'm so glad I thought to pull it out. Stamps are one of those things. I do try to use them, but I kind of get stuck on 1 or 2 stamp sets that I tend to use a lot. And I have so many and I don't grab them out. So I was excited to be able to use that one. So then I wanted to use some of my other Heidi Swapp color shine. So this one is the only other color that I still have. Let me see if I can find it and I'll tell you. It's like the white one. And yeah, it's just white. Okay, that's easy. It's just white. So whenever it goes on, it's a little brighter. And after it dries, you can see that it's a little bit more dull. But I really do like that as well. And it looks so good on these darker backgrounds. So I was excited to pop that on. And then just whenever I was putting my Heidi Shine back, there was a bottle of some really cute Halloween sequins there. So I thought, why not? Let's add a few of those on, just almost as like enamel dots. So I'm just popping those into place, kind of figuring out where I want them. And then we will use just my glue pen here. This is my favorite glue pen. I always use it. So this one is the Zig 2-way glue squeeze and roll. There's a few different sizes. This one is the smaller one where it looks like a pin. Like you can see that the actual tip of it is like a pen tip, like you're writing something. But they also have them where they're more of like a little squeegee kind of tip and it's a little thicker. So that's another option, but I really love that one. So then there you go. That one is finished. So now we're kind of moving on from totally spooky season to the very end of the month when me and Will went on our trip to New York. So we did spend the last, it was like October 22nd through the 30th in New York and then in the Boston area. So I already did, again, my Project Life spread, and I just did a 1-page spread on the trip because I knew that I was going to do a couple layouts. So sometimes it just totally depends on what I'm doing and what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll do a 2-page spread. Sometimes I'll do like a pocket page. Sometimes I'll do some sort of insert. But this time I knew that I was going to be doing a couple 12 by 12 spreads. So I decided that that would work for adding all of my additional photos. So again, I wanted to use a lot of pictures. So I am using the Simple Stories collection here and there, which is what I'm using for this project over on Patreon. So I am creating an entire 6x8 album of this trip. But again, I don't mind double scrapping because I'm kind of telling different stories. My Project Life album is kind of just the who, what, where, when, why kind of thing. It's just like general facts. It's small pieces of journaling, that sort of thing. And I like to have everything documented. So if I grab out my Project Life album, I don't want to have a big hole in it where it's like, oh, please see the 6x8 travel album to see this trip. It's like I like to have some sort of documentation of the trip. And then if I want to just look at travel albums or just look at this trip, I can pull out the 6x8 album, and that's going to have all the things. It will have the who, what, when, where, but it'll probably have how we felt about it, how we enjoyed different things, you know, different little stories about things that happened, you know, all those extra details will go in there. So for this one, I knew that I wanted to create a spread, though, that had a lot of these additional photos from New York. So this one, another very photo heavy spread that had 10 photos in it. So this was another kind of like scrap lifted sort of idea where I saw there was photos at the top, photos at the bottom, and then the title and everything in the middle. So I thought, okay, I could totally work with that because this isn't a spread that I think I would normally think of myself. So it's really simple. You can see that I just used one piece of pattern paper. I didn't even mat anything. I just created 2 rows of photos at the top and at the bottom. Then I'm using an additional piece. This could totally be a scrap piece of pattern paper where I just used a Citrus Twist tag as a template, cut out a tag, and then I'm using some old thickers again to spell out NYC with the exclamation. And then I'm going to use a few other embellishments to just make this a little more exciting and add on my journaling and all of that. So these are some new mini alphas that I got from Citrus Twist. I had to order a new album for my travel album. So I grabbed these. I love these kind of little small alphas. I can't help it. They're so cute. So I just spell out moments for New York City moments. And then I do have the sticker book that goes with the Here and There collection. Now these stickers are so crazy thin, but they are nice because you get so many of them. And one of my favorite sheets that these typically come with are these sheet of like round stickers. So I thought it would be cute to kind of create my own pattern paper here in the middle by just using some of these round stickers. It's a great way to use up a bunch of them if you do want to get rid of some of the stash. But also, I just think they're really cute. I love that they're a couple different sizes and they're just pretty fun. So just add those here in this middle section. And I really end up liking the way that this looks. It created quite a bit of embellishing, but I don't feel like it looks like too much. Like I think it really goes nicely. And then I am going to use some of that Heidi Swapp Color Shine again, just to add a little bit of the white pop there in the middle once I kind of finish up here. So of course I had to add some gold stars. So I'm going to add one of those to just a few of the circles. I don't put them on all of them. I didn't want to overdo it, but I just kind of pop a gold star onto 3 different circles on each side. And then I'm going to finish up my tag there and get that really the way that I want it. So I love these photos from New York. These are just like a mix of some of the days. So besides our travel day, we had 4 full days there. So we did so many things, and I will chat about that whenever in more detail whenever I do show you guys my travel album full flip through, which will be up here at the, after this month is over, because that's what we're working on Patreon. But I do have pictures here from when we walked the Brooklyn Bridge, from Coney Island, from Central Park, from the summit, which was a really tall building experience that we did like by Times Square, dinner with friends, definitely Times Square, and also seeing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. We just did so many fun things. So I was excited to have all of these things represented here. I printed these photos off, I think, at about a 2.5 by 3-ish size, which I thought was nice. They fit really nicely on there. So you'll see I added my journaling, a couple other embellishments, and then I'm adding on that color shine, and that's going to be it for this one. I felt like it really didn't need much else with all of those photos. It really filled up the page easily. And now we're moving on to the very last one, which this is also the same trip, but after those 4 days in New York, we went over to Boston, and we had basically 3 days there, but one of them we spent in Salem. So we went there Halloween weekend, like the couple days right before Halloween, and it was so fun, a total bucket list thing that I was really excited to do. So I definitely wanted these pictures to be in their own layout. So this was another one where I kind of got the idea from Pinterest to do kind of a half and half spread. So I chose that Simply October paper there in the background. And then the heart is one of the ones from the Fabulous line where I just grabbed a couple sheets. So then in the spread, they had several photos. So this one, again, we have like 6 photos, but I printed 4 of them off smaller. And then the 2 in the middle are a little bit bigger than like a 3x4. I'm sorry about being kind of out of frame here. But so these were all some pictures from our Salem adventure. So we have a selfie of me and Will there in the middle. Also a picture by Allison's house from Hocus Pocus. Then there's us with the Sanderson sisters and me with Beetlejuice. Just some really, really cool carved pumpkins at the Salem Witch Museum whenever we were waiting in line. And then the last one is actually from the Boston Day, but it is some of the graves from a really old cemetery that we went to, and it was rainy and it was such a fall day and it was really cool. So I added all of those photos there. And then I wanted to use some of these embellishments from the Fabulous collection because, like I said, I did grab them for my travel album, but I'm only going to be using these for the Salem photos since they're the only like Halloween kind of photos. So I'm going to have a lot of leftovers, so I thought I would go ahead and use them here. So here you're just going to see me kind of place things and play around and see what I like. So I kind of like the idea of having the cluster at the top and then the cluster at it's like the top left and the bottom right. And then I wanted to add a little bit something over by the photos. So it takes me a minute. I did have a couple tags, but I didn't like the way those looked. But then I found this like journaling piece here and I thought, okay, that would look nice to just tuck right under the photo. Gives me a little more space where I could do my journaling and even maybe a title, which I ended up doing that. So I kind of wanted to cover up those flowers. That wasn't my favorite pattern. So I'm going to use like 3 little embellishment pieces here to cover up the flowers. And then we'll, finish up this. So I really love these 2 papers. The Simply October or Simply Vintage October, that might be what it's called. I love that paper, especially this orange. I just think it's so fun. And then the two-toned heart was one of my favorite pieces from the Fabulous collection. I think I only got this paper with the hearts and then maybe like the cut-apart sheet and the tag sheet. I'm pretty sure that's it. It was a really cute collection, though. I loved it. The color scheme wasn't like super my color scheme. It was a little more muted tones, but that's kind of what I'm going for my travel album. So it worked really nicely there. So you can see here that I've pulled out that same, what was it called? Dots and Spots stamp set from Feed Your Craft. So I added on a few other little spots and all of that, the paint splattery look there at the top. And then I grabbed out another totally random thicker sheet where I could spell out Salem. So basically down by my feet, I put my big thicker basket and then I just looked through for a general color that I liked. Like I wanted a darker one for this one, like black, and just tried to find anything where I had all the letters that I would need. So I just saved y'all the pain of looking through a ton of half-used alphas. But I found these. I like the way this one looks. It fits really great onto this little tag here. Then I'm going to add, of course, my date stamp and then also my journaling. So again, with the tab, I just decided to add one little tab here. I just grabbed this tab punch from Amazon. So super easy to grab one of those for yourself if you're interested. It's really come in handy and it's been one of my favorite punches that I've gotten recently. And then of course I have to add on a few stars. So I'll add on some of my gold stars. Looks like I need to punch some more soon. That's one thing that I love about these is that I just punch them out. Again, I just bought a handheld star punch from Amazon. And so I do grab some gold and then I found a couple black ones in there. So I add those on as well. So I do a few little doodles, then we'll add on the journaling. And I think this one might actually be my favorite one, which is funny because whenever I was starting to make it, I was really second guessing like the way that these photos were in the middle and stuff. But I really, really like the way that those look. And I like that I was able to fit so many photos in each one of these spreads. I don't know. I always feel like since a 12 by 12 spread has so much real estate, I just always feel better if there's like a lot of photos that I'm documenting or if the photos are really big. Sometimes if there's just like one tiny photo or 2 tiny photos on the 12 by 12, I just feel like, does it look weird? Is it a waste? I think it's just me, but it's just something like a preference that I have. So then I do grab out these Tim Holtz phrase stickers that are Halloween themed. So I thought I would put a few of those on in these kind of blank spaces as well. And then I think besides that, I'm probably just going to grab some more of that Heidi's Shine and pop that on for a finishing touch. And then we will have this one done. Oh, I do grab a few more of the little Doodlebug pumpkins. See, I love to just add them in little spaces like that. I think they're really cute. So happy to add those on since I have so many left. Gonna pop on a doodle border around just the orange section. Very, very cute. And I just love having these moments documented as well because they were so much fun and so many special, special memories that we made in October. So we are just about done with this spread as well. Thank you so much for coming along with me while I worked on all of these today. I hope that you enjoyed this quadruple process video. And I hope that if you did like it, you will consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And of course, I'll be back again super soon with another one. Bye, friends.